Yeah, I should do that. I should.
We need a, do we need a theme song?
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a weird selection of songs on my phone.
Yeah. It's probably one of those things that we could never agree on.
Yeah. How about dun 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 dun.
Well, there's a thought.
There you go.
The
Let's
Rocky.
Rocky it up.
Yeah.
I was going to nominate Margot for a one-woman show, but Kay, you brought it right up.
There you go.
Here, let me just do it. Yeah. How is everybody?
Good.
Great.
How about yourself?
It's good to see everyone. Oh, there's Lane. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Lane.
Love your bow.
You like
I know, I
that?
love that too.
I do. I do. I made some bows like that for my granddaughters for Christmas a couple years ago. They were fun to make. Red polka dot.
Well, I almost feel like I'm in, Who Framed Roger Rabbit or something. I mean, like the bow is fake. The background is an image. I mean, it's like, am I really here? It's
Oh, the bow is fake. I thought it was a real bow.
it's part of Zoom.
Oh, that is
Oh.
cute.
Yeah.
Well, my lipstick is part of Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the heck? I don't have to worry about my lipstick. They do it for me.
Oh,
Very good.
Yeah.
all right. Now, how do we do that? We need a class.
Yeah, we were talking
Probably
earlier,
the
like how
same
you turn
place
yourself.
that you get your bow.
Well, okay. Well, I'm just gonna leave it. I'll probably do something and mess it up. Hey, Corey.
Hey there. I like your bow.
Thank you.
I like your salad.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't have time to eat. So I'm gonna go off my phone and onto my computer in a bit. So
Okay. So hoping that Beatrice will show up pretty soon.
Next fabulous place we see is good.
Gosh, Kathy, I'm getting dizzy just looking at you on the screen. Like when people show up upside down, it's just a little disconcerting.
I'll come back.
Oh, there you are. Hey, Kathy.
I thought my video and my voice were muted. But anyway, yeah, I'm driving. So, oh, I love your
I know.
That's
Okay,
a
so
lot of attention.
okay, I'm gonna mute and
I'm gonna have to buy some bows. I can tell right now. Oh, look, Lane has a bow too.
Oh, that's cute.
It's so cute. I couldn't resist.
That is cute.
Oh, mercy.
I have a headband that's got that bow, and it's red with white polka dots. And I wore it for part of Stormy the Opera, when I played
Yeah.
the girl from the small town.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the front porch. Oh my gosh. But I love wearing it because, you just pull your hair back and you've got this cute bow and you're done.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Margot,
why.
the other day I watched a little bit of Stormy again. Maybe Kay Adshead had something up about it. I can't remember how I got into it again. Oh my God. That was so,
Stay away.
the drumming and John dancing around, that was really a production. That was just great.
Yeah. It was quite an experience.
Well, gonna wait just a couple more minutes before we get started.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder if it's possible to put the bow on the cat.
Well, I don't know.
I recognize that cat.
Yeah, that's baby.
She's
He
like,
thinks he belongs with me
Yeah.
whenever I'm on my computer.
yep,
Yeah.
he's got a creative side.
Yes. He also likes to sew. It's a
Yeah.
machine fixation he has.
Yeah, I had a cat that used to love to eat plastic.
Ooh.
It was his mission to find plastic anywhere he could, and mine to keep it away from him. And he could find it, it could be on the very bottom of a wastebasket, and you turn around and there he's pulling it out of the wastebasket. He also liked to chew on photographs. That was fun too.
Mm.
Oh, gosh. The only non-food thing Angus likes to chew on are ribbons. And so for Valentine's, we had this ribbon. We had a balloon with some ribbons hanging off it. So while somebody wasn't watching, he ate some ribbon. I went
Oh.
out. When I came back, there was a fur ball with a ribbon on top. It was like a bow on top, I swear.
Oh, that was so special.
I know. I took a picture of it
Oh.
because I know people wouldn't believe me. Plus I sent it to my roommate who was a vet person. I said, is it going to be okay? And he said, yeah, if you
Yeah.
got it all up,
Yeah, spit it all up. Yeah.
Yeah. Ribbons and yarn aren't, even though cats love it, they shouldn't have it.
Yeah, I know. That's not a good thing.
No. But yeah, my current cat doesn't really go after anything. So that's nice.
That's good.
She's nice and laid back. She just orders me around. So.
Well, this is an appropriate discussion for the meeting today because the woman wrote about traveling with her cat, right?
I can't imagine. I just can't.
Hard enough traveling with your dog.
It's just hard enough traveling with your spouse. I mean, oh God, totally different travel styles. My family was always adamant about being on time or early. And according to Stan, the whole time he was growing up and the family go out, they never saw the start of a movie.
Oh.
They always had to stay and watch it start with the one following it. So they never were on time. So that's how we go. Okay. Well, it is 12 after. Why don't we go ahead and get started? We have several announcements before we get started with our fabulous program for this evening. Somebody was supposed to read our mission statement, but she's not here. So I'm in charge for the night. I am not the president anymore. And you're not having a flashback to 2022. Gretchen was not able to make it, at least for the first part of the meeting. So I am going to fill in for her. So I'm going to read the mission statement.
Yeah, if you have it.
WIFLA's mission is to provide an inspiring forum for women to explore and advance their creative development, to promote their work in the marketplace, and to infuse the community with their spirit of cooperation and invention. Okay. Let me see. Is Brooke here? I don't see Brooke. Do we have? Okay. So Brooke introduces new members and guests, and she's not here. So who is are there any new members on this evening before we talk about guests? I don't. Things are jumping around. Okay, I think we have some guests though. Guests, please introduce yourself and turn on your camera if it's not already on. So I think we have Stacy, you're a guest.
Hi, I'm here with Ginger.
Of course you are.
I got a cat in my lap. I'm Carrie's sister Stacy. I'm the graphic designer for the book.
Oh, right. Okay, great. Welcome.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute it back though because there's a lot of noise in the background and cats and people
Okay.
making.
Well, welcome. And right next to you on my screen is Pamela. And you're on mute.
I don't think she knows how to unmute herself. She's gonna turn herself into the cat like that lawyer.
All right. Now, only daughters can get away with that kind of stuff. So there is a relationship here. Uh-oh. She might be able to defend herself.
There's the techie.
There she
Can you
is.
hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay, I can hear it now. Hattie, she turned it on. Okay, thank you. Yes, she is my daughter, Carrie.
Are you claiming the other one? Are you?
Yes, and Stacy.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Welcome.
didn't have the sound on because it's a good thing. Socks was bawling.
Oh, the cat's meowing.
Yeah. He was
Fox is our
meowing.
cat.
Okay. Because we have lots of cats. That's great. Okay, everyone's moved around again. Is it Leora?
I can always tell when someone gets to my name because there's a pause. in the question. Yes,
Did I come
Leora.
close? Leora, okay.
Yeah, you did great. Friends call me Leah.
Okay. Hi, Leah.
Hey, Socks.
And could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Socks did something. Socks.
Okay, one second. Pamela, I'm gonna mute you and Socks. Okay. Lee, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you a visual or literary artist?
I do visuals, but I'm also a songwriter, and I've been doing technical writing. So I hope to do some more longer creative writing with character development that takes longer than 4 minutes, which is your typical song. But so I'm glad to be here.
Well, and how did you hear about us?
I have actually had a postcard for the last 3 years, so actually maybe longer, that I got, and I've been procrastinating, and
That's okay. You picked the right time to attend.
Thank you.
Do you have a cat?
I do. I've had a few cats, and my current cat is, she'll probably make an appearance crawling over the desk. Her name is Bella, and she's a ragdoll Himalayan that's not at all spoiled.
I'm sure.
And she's wicked pettable, and she seems to have a preference to anybody else that comes over my house. So you'll get to meet her at some point, I hope. But yeah, I have a cat thing.
Good. Welcome, both of you. Let me see. Serena? Is that really Serena?
She may be working. I know she's like kind of working and listening in at the same time. So
Okay,
she's
so
my friend, so I invited her. So
Okay. And
there she is.
There she is.
Unmute yourself. You're muted. Oh, she's on her.
Oh, she's on it. Okay, she's on a call.
On a call.
Sign language works. We should all learn ASL. And Carrie.
Hi, I'm a friend of Carrie Carter's from a screenwriting class we took back in the day ago or so now. I think Margot was in there for a while. And so I got an invite from Carrie on Facebook, and I just thought I'd attend, see how she put her book together. especially
Okay.
the graphic part.
Oh,
Like all
great.
the after writing kind of thing. So
Well, we're so glad to have you with us this evening. And I'm assuming that Denise is our Denise Bossart. Is that I can't tell because there's no picture. Is that true or is that a different Denise? Yes, it is her. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think I got everybody. Things are moving around. Okay. We have some announcements this evening.
Okay.
Is that June and Anne?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, the June and Ann show. Okay, coming from the west side of town. Okay. Okay. Marie,
Yes.
do you have some announcements for us?
Yes, pickup for the reflection exhibit will be this coming Sunday at Lee College in Baytown.
Oh, really? Bring them back. Pooey.
Pickup times are 10 to 12 or 1 to 5, because Elena's taking a lunch break from 12 to 1. I'll go ahead and type up the address here in the chat. I'll also follow up. I sent an email yesterday and I'll follow up with an email today with the address and the times again. The reason why Gretchen and I cannot pick up or store in our studios is because we have been displaced from our studios because of the fire. So, you know, we have no studio in essence. And so that's why it's no longer available or an option to pick up from Sawyer Yards.
And I'm moving that weekend, so I don't have a place either. So, yeah, so everybody needs to make arrangements to pick up their work. Either drive yourself or go with a buddy. I believe I talked with Natalie the other day. She's going to try to go on Friday, but she needs to get in touch with Elena to do that. So if you plan to go out to the college anytime other than the times that Marie just said, you need to get in touch with Elena. And if you need for contact information, you can send me an email or jot something in the chat, and I'll send you an email after the meeting. Because I don't have it handy with me this second. Okay.
Does that time frame also include the visual artists that Maria said to pick up their stuff as well? This is Gladys talking.
Yes. You mean the literary?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, the literary. It means it's the same time.
I know what you mean. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would be everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up my partner's. She doesn't live that far from me, and it's just a nice excuse for us to get together for a cup of coffee. But yeah, yes, that includes the literary pieces that were up on the wall as well.
And what were those times again?
10 to 12 and 1 to 5.
Okay, thank you. Sunday.
Yes, Sunday.
And Lane, your piece was corrected. So in case you want that, it was corrected.
Thank you.
Okay.
I had a question. Oh,
yes, Kathy.
I had a question. Who do I talk to about the virtual gallery, or is that already over with? I mean, is the submission over with? Or?
That would be me, and I'll be in touch with you in the next couple of days about what I need from you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
just checking in.
I haven't forgotten.
Well, I thought maybe I missed a deadline or something, so I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Well, we're past the deadline, but that's our fault. Too much
So Marie,
going on. Yeah,
Marie,
I'll definitely message you in the next couple of days.
Okay, Marie, you're still up. We have a juried exhibition.
Oh.
Okay. It's yes, the show this year will take place at Winter Street Studios. We shall be open by then. And it will be in upstairs, sections A and B. We have discussed opening it to outside members, members and non-members. The theme is expansion, so start thinking about that, and it'll run from September 1st through October 31st. So however you want to develop your idea around the theme of expansion. And I
believe we're working on, we have some thoughts about a juror, but I guess that has not been solidified yet. Is that right, Marie?
No, but by the time we release the prospectus, it will be, all that info will be available.
Okay. Thank you.
And the dates again?
It will be September 1st through October 31st at Winter Street Studios. Our new improved building.
Yes, Lisa will be a new coat of paint. Ellen.
Yes, ma'am.
There you are.
Regarding literary stuff, two events coming up this year that we can talk about right now, and I hope you're picking up your pencils and you're for a short story. And the first one, Gladys is arranging it. It's Poetry by the Bay. That is taking place at the library, April 22nd from 11 to 1. And you should be able to go online and sign up for that. And I understand that Gretchen will be sending out a sign up for that.
Oh, good.
And so I look forward to everybody signing up for that who wants to read a poem. And last time I checked, I'm Gladys, there were like 2 or 3 people signed up. So I'm going to work on some social media as well to get the word out for people to sign up.
It's already, hey, Ellen,
Yes.
it's on the calendar, and the calendar has the link to the sign up as well. So you don't have to wait. You can run out to the calendar on our website and sign up from there.
So we need some social media to send people to the website.
Right. But I mean, everybody here, I'm just saying, you can, as soon as this meeting's over and not before, you can go to our website and go to that April date and sign up.
Please do.
Yeah.
Post haste, as they say. And the second item is our literary competition. WIVLA has teamed up with the Houston Writers Guild for a writers competition called Journey into Art. And this involves short stories. And by short story, I'm talking 3,000 to 7,000 words. The prospectus is up on the website.
Oh, wow.
Prospectus is also up on the Houston Writers Guild website.
I don't like that.
So
Wow.
the submissions are due April 7th. So you should be writing on that right this minute, but not while Carrie is talking.
Right. As soon as the
While I'm
meeting's over.
talking. And if you have any questions, let me know.
And this is so exciting. This is our first literary competition in my memory. There may have been one before me because I'm relatively new. Yes, Miss Misty.
And winners will be announced. It's very exciting. Winners will be announced. Houston Writers Guild is having a conference in October. And like the opening night, there's going to be like a book launch for the anthology. So if you place within this writers contest, you will be there, and this book is going to go out to all the presenters and vendors and things who are there at the conference. So it's very exciting.
Is there a topic, or is it up to you to write what you want to write about?
Thank you, Kay. Journey into Art.
Journey into Art.
Now, what that means
Sorry, I
is you have to have art somewhere, walking past a painting in a museum, walking through a sculpture garden, working on your own piece of artwork. art somewhere in the story, within the 3,000 to 7,000 words. Mention a piece of art.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. That was a good question.
Thanks. Thanks, Ellen. I have a couple of announcements. It's getting to be that time of year again. April is not only poetry month, it's Eco Fund month.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So we now have a sign up form on our website.
Right.
Thank you to Mildred for getting that set up for us. So if you have not won before, you can go to our website. I believe it's under Why to Join, and there's a picture of somebody holding up some money. I don't know what the denomination is. And that's the page that has the link. And this, I've been a lucky recipient of this. Several people on the call this evening have been recipients of this grant. It's essentially you get $1,000. Raise your hand if you've received the $1,000. Yay. Okay. So this is a grant that enables you to help further your art, whether it's writing or visual. Winners of this award have purchased printers, plane tickets, have taken classes. I believe someone got a special septic system for some of the chemicals she had to work with. I mean, whatever. I mean, you are not restricted to a certain kind of way of using this money.
Mhm.
So if you have not won this before, and it's a drawing, you fill out a simple form. We don't sit and pore over the form and say, well, this isn't a complete sentence here, or this thought is not well formed here. No, complete the form the best you can, because we have found that circumstances can change. Think back to 2020 and COVID. You're not bound by that form either. Things change in our lives. So please, I encourage you, if you have not been a recipient of this grant, sign up now. You must be a member in good standing for 2 years as of April 3rd. And I could have sworn I had the deadline written down here, but it's close to April 3rd, and we'll have something in the newsletter for when you have to sign up. So log on after the meeting. There's so much to do on our website after this meeting this evening. Also, one of the first things I heard about when I joined WIVLA was books to eat. I mean, I've heard of people liking books, but not enough to eat them necessarily. But you don't eat the books, you come up with, I guess it's mainly cakes and cookies, pastries, I guess, that represent books. And this festival is coming up, and I cannot find what the date is. I thought I had it in an email, but I know that Lee wanted it in the March newsletter. So it's sometime after March 1st. Is anyone here know what that deadline is?
It's targeted to occur around April Fool's Day. So
well,
it'll be
okay.
sometime around April 1st.
Perfect. That sounds like an appropriate date for it. And I think I can share my desktop and show you just a quick example. So these were some pictures.
Oh, wow.
Here's the Monster Book of Monsters. Oh, that's so cute. Where the sidewalk ends. Anyway, there's been some horribly clever things. I wish somebody would come up with a good idea and call me and we could get to baking. Anyway, so keep your eyes peeled for that in our March newsletter, which will be coming out in a couple of weeks or so. And I think that's it for me. So I am going to turn the meeting over to Margot.
Okay, great. Before I introduce Carrie, I did want to let you know there is, we have a workshop coming up March the 4th, Saturday, March the 4th, and it's on writing an artist statement. It also applies to authors. And our presenter was the woman who did our workshop on how to write a good bio.
Oh, good. She's good.
She's dynamic.
Mhm.
She has great ideas.
Mhm.
She gives a lot of individual attention to everyone. It's really fun, and you have to be a member, and you can get all the information on our calendar, and go to our calendar for all the outings, field trips, workshops, events, anything. It's going to be on our calendar, so be sure to do that.
So Margot, I have a question.
Yes.
What is the cost for this workshop for members?
Oh, thank you. Yes, it is free. It is free. So it's going to be great, and it's free. So yeah, you'll see some other things on the website, but that's all I'm going to say right for now. And it'll be great. I might even bring some gourmet coffee. So you can't beat that. Okay, I wanted to tell you about next month's meeting. As a little teaser, we have a fantastic pair of women who's going to talk about their business. It's called Thrift Revival Houston. Rescued, revived, repurposed. The meeting is March 23rd. And these women take things that they find like in garage sales. They've taken stuff they found on the side of the road, and they make it into wonderful stuff. And what fascinated me about them is that they started out doing auctions on Facebook, these live auctions on Facebook. And I participated in one of those. I mean, it was so much fun. I felt like I was in one of those interactive TV shows. And they'll talk about the system that they used. I bought a couple of fantastic bags, which my roommates took over, which I don't have anymore. So hopefully I'll get some more, in the future. But anyway, so that's coming up next month. You will not want to miss it because they've got really great marketing ideas. If you need to market your stuff, they're really experts. Okay, so let me introduce Carrie Carter, also known as Carrie Ringwald. I met Carrie in a screenwriting class, also with Carrie Fisher, and I was just really attracted to her big heart, her creativity, her sense of fun. She's the only person who texts me. She'll send me a text late at night saying stuff like, I'm thinking about buying this piece of art. What do you think? And I'm like, oh, somebody gives a damn what I care about. What's better than that? Okay, so Carrie graduated from the University of Texas at Austin with a BS in radio, television, and film. She has several screenplays waiting for the right producer to come along.
Okay.
Her debut novel, Whiskers Abroad, Ashi and Audrey's Adventures in Japan, is a combined guidebook with a travelogue and tales of cat adventures. A cat on an adventure in a country that features sushi and rocks and sand gardens. What could possibly go wrong? Well, she will answer that question for us. So I'm just so happy to welcome my friend, Carrie Carter. Take it away. And everybody be sure to mute yourself.
All righty, thanks for that intro. So let me share my screen because I got some pictures and make sure I do this right. Share. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, Margot gave an introduction to me, so I'm gonna give another just brief introduction. My name is Carrie Carter. I've been a writer off and on pretty much all my life, but I've never been published. And now that I'm published, I can call myself an author. So that's exciting. And I like to cook. I like Jacques Pepin. No, I love Jacques Pepin. I don't just like Jacques Pepin. I'm fascinated by him. And I like to make costumes. As you can see in the picture, I'm wearing a costume. I also play keyboards in an 80s band, Molly and the Ringwalds. And that's that photo here. And there's another photo from when we back in 2003. So we've been trucking along for quite some time. And yes, I do have a day job, unfortunately, but I think a lot of people who write and do art have day jobs too. So I write about commodities on the West Coast, like gasoline and car bob and jet fuel. And it is super exciting. And, there's always been an urge to create something in me. I have to write, I have to play something, I have to make, a costume, I want to make a diorama. But this picture shows you that drawing is not my forte. I drew this as a mock-up for a novella idea called Atlas Cat, and it's just not, I can't draw. Okay, at all. But as a kid, and that's me as a kid, probably about third, maybe fourth grade, I loved stories. I loved reading about Nancy Drew, and I loved following the Trixie Belden stories. And my mom would take me to the library, and I'd check out 7 books at a time, which was the maximum you could check out. And when we'd go to the Randalls, they had a little section there that had YA books, and she'd always buy me a book if I wanted one. So I always liked to read. And then probably around 3rd grade, I started writing. There I started writing little short stories about the girl and her best friend, and they're solving mysteries. And somehow or another, they always get head injuries where they pass out and then they wake up and it's all a big old misunderstanding, and everyone's like, haha, it's okay. So that was my first attempt at writing, which I would love to have one of those stories now because I'm sure they're pretty bad. And then when high school, I created a zine. I don't know if y'all recall zines being super popular back in the 90s. So I had to have one too, like everyone else. And we called it the Blepharospasm Bulletin. And we printed it up. We used my friend's dad's office because he was a vet. So we'd go to the office late at night and we would make Xerox copies and put it into the coffee shops, and probably one person read them, maybe 2. But that was my high school experience. And I moved into UT and I took some screenwriting classes, and I was writing screenplays within and all. And then I graduated and work happened. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. You have to start earning money, you have to start paying rent, you have to start worrying about health insurance. And so the writing got pushed off to the side. And so during that time, I just worked a bunch of jobs, a bunch of horrible jobs. I worked at a place where the CEO had been fired, and he came in and he would sit in his office, just sit there with nothing in there. So we all were starting making plans, what are we going to do? Because I think he's going to come in with a gun. It was that kind of work atmosphere. You don't want to be working there. And I worked selling monuments, headstones, grave stones, that kind of monuments for cemeteries. And bless their hearts, but the male owner of the company was very, very cheap. And one day in August, the AC went out. We had mosquitoes pouring in through a hole in the AC duct. And there was a dead animal under the building that smelled. And we're like, you've got to do something. He's like, nah, it's okay. It's fine. So, it's not fine. Fortunately, his wife came back to town and she fixed everything. But those are the kind of jobs I've had. I've had a job very office space type, where we had to make cover sheets for cover sheets. And the reason why I'm telling you this, because it is going somewhere within the story. So every year I would come up with a list of things that I like, and I would email it to my friends. I like cats. Who doesn't like cats? But I like cats, and I like dioramas, making them. Well, I actually never really made too many, but I like looking at them and one day hope to make them. And I like making, meals that are nutritionally balanced. And I like reading about infectious diseases. And this poor kid has the measles. And it was just, it's a bunch of random stuff, some normal, some not so normal. And I'd send email to my friends and I'd be like, hey, what should I be doing for a job? And they're kind of like, you're asking me that, I don't know. And then one day my sister goes, well, why don't you take writing and Japan and cats and food and coffee that's all on your list and write a book about that using all these things? And I was like, that's a really good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. So that's how Whiskers Abroad got started. Now, originally when we talked about Whiskers Abroad, I had thought about doing it as a spy novel with a cat in Tokyo that's a spy. But then I was like, I don't read that many spy novels, and probably writing a spy novel is not my cup of tea. I wouldn't be that good at it. So I decided to do a guidebook, but not just a guidebook. I wanted to combine where there's the stories of the cat and, the woman in Japan. I wanted to have photos, like a memory book. So that's the start of Whiskers Abroad. And so why Japan, though? I've been asked that quite a few times. Why not Mexico or Italy or, some other place? Well, there's a picture from the book. So one of the things we wanted to do in the book was include pictures of the cat doing things in Japan, like he's traveling on the airport and the airplane, which, by the way, no, they will not let your cat out in the airplane to sit in the seat next to you. That is Photoshopped. I had someone like, can I bring my cat like that? I'm like, no, you cannot. And so, we did a picture of him looking at the sushi and the sushi, so, but Whiskers Abroad, that's the book, and that's how it was born. And here's the cover of it. And my sister did all the graphics design for it. So why Japan again? Well, as a kid, I used to watch those movies that would come on Saturday. They would show Godzilla or Gamera, and they were kind of cheesy, and it was fun to watch the monsters fight. But I really was intrigued by all the signs and the buildings and how that was all different, and it really kind of caught my attention. And this picture here, if you've seen it, that's Hedorah versus Godzilla, and it's an environmental piece. And there's some weird stuff in it, like in the beginning where some guy takes some acid and he imagines everyone's got fish heads. So it's not your typical Godzilla movie. But, here's a picture of Japan showing the signs that caught my attention. I didn't understand what any of this writing was. But what obviously it was writing, people understood it. And I kind of became fascinated by it. But, I never thought I would go to Japan. That's about where I thought it would end, right there. I'm like, oh, okay. Watch some shows. That's about it. But then I managed to go to Japan itself on a layover. It was a 4-hour layover. So we were flying back from well, let me go back a little bit, give you a little, background to this so it makes a little bit more sense. My husband, Jim, worked for Continental Airlines at the time, and we could fly standby pretty much wherever they went as long as there was available seats. So we had taken a trip down to Australia, and we were coming back, and we had to stop in Japan. We had a 4-hour layover, and I was like, let's leave the airport and let's go check out the city. And he didn't want to do it because he's like, we're not going to get back in time. We're going to miss our flight. And so we talked to the airline stewardess, and they're like, yeah, go ahead and do it. Just take the first stop or second stop from the airport and then just explore that, which is Narita. It's a town of Narita. So here's me in the street in Narita, the first time in Japan. And I had 2 goals at that time. 1, I wanted to eat some noodles. 2, I wanted to buy a t-shirt. I did manage to eat some noodles, but I never found a t-shirt in this area of Japan. And so we're wandered around, and there's lots of stuff. I didn't know what it was. I tried this. I thought it was going to be chocolate, and it was not chocolate. I do believe it was hazelnuts and beans with some sort of coating on it, red bean coating, which was interesting. I wouldn't say it was anything I'd want to eat often, but it wasn't bad. And then I stopped at this place where they were literally killing the ills in the restaurant, putting a nail in their head, slicing them open, sticking them in teriyaki sauce, and then grilling them up. And at that point, I'm just like, yeah, I'm fascinated by this country. This is so different from the United States. It's modern, but it's different. They're both, US and Japan are both countries that are wealthy. We have high GDPs, but it's so different there because of the culture. And it's interesting because it's completely conservative on one side and then completely wild and crazy on another. And plus the food is just really amazing. And there we are where I got my noodles. Look how happy I was. So this is the book. So the book is it's drawing in about travel, about, people who love cats, because there's a cat narrator who narrates half of it, people who love Japan. And so here's my my main people to get to. People who love Whiskers Abroad, love cats, travel, in Japan. So here's just another photo from the book, and it's humor. I wanted the book to be humorous. I didn't want it to be heavy. I wanted to be kind of like a guidebook, because I felt like I had a lot of information when I've been to Japan and what I've seen and done, and that I could share it to people. So I wanted to put that in the book, but I didn't want it to be plain and dry, like, see, at this hotel, they've got a blah, 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 blah. They've got 3 out of 4 stars. I'm like, oh, that's lame. But I was like, no, I'm going to put a cat there, and he's going to tell his perspective as a diary. And the owner, Audrey, is going to tell her perspective. And so I wanted to be funny and humorous and lighthearted, but having never really written anything funny, I'm like, I don't know what's funny or what's not. Like, to me, a cat in a ramen shop in Japan, that's funny, but most people are probably like, okay. Like, to me, this was funny. This was in Thailand on an island. And that's the evacuation route for the tsunami. You have to climb up a mountain or, a cliff. That ain't fast, and that's not that safe, but hey, what are you gonna do? And so, like, I wanted the book to be, like I said, lighthearted. So we did things like this. We put the cat where the cat had a passport, because, animals have passports here, right? Although in England, they can't have a passport when you are UK. So when you're traveling through the EU and stuff, you can just show your passport when you take a cat over the border. So, basically what I found funny was just like my own personal observations and amusing. Like, this is a sumo match. A cat would not be allowed in a sumo match, but yet somehow Ashi's sitting in the middle of the sumo match and no one's paying any attention to him. They're doing their thing and no one cares. Oh, that picture's out of order, sorry. So, okay, so go back to Ashi's picture here. All right, or not. Let me close out and do it again. So this is Ashi, and he is my sister's cat. And so when we started doing it, like, I had a cat at the time named Audrey, who was elderly and probably not going to live much longer. She didn't when we started this. So she wouldn't make a really good choice for being the cat model. So my sister said, oh, use my cat. His name's Ashi. He's photogenic and he's easy to take photos of, which is kind of a lie, because he's very difficult to take photos of. And every time you want to take a photo of him, he yawns, and it's just like, but we got pictures of him. Now, I started this project back in 2016? I think we kind of tossed around the idea, and I really started getting more serious about 2017. And when we started, Ashi was nice and thin and lean. And as the pandemic happened, Ashi gained a bunch of pounds. And he's not the only one. So, but if you look in the book, you'll see pictures of me, because through the years, and I'm like, my hair's different in one and it's long in the other, and I'm like 10 pounds lighter in one. So, and I explain it all away, sort of explain it all away in the narration. But the main thing is, like, when you're writing, you need to find legitimacies in the stories. They don't have to be real, because obviously you're not going to have a cat that goes to Japan. You're not going to have a cat that types. You're not going to have a cat that managed to upgrade himself from, being in the cargo up to business class. So, all that stuff happens in the book, but it's fiction. But, you want to find your voice, and you want to find sort of an authentic tone to what's happening. You need to be real for the world that you set up. And I hope I tried the best to do that I can. I may have failed, I think, but I think I did an okay job with it. So that's a big part of the story. there's stories that they're things that I went and I personally seen and I personally done. I've been to all the locations in the book. I just took it a step further and I made a generic, not generic, but I made a other persona talking about the book, the woman Audrey and also the cat. So, you know, hopefully someone can read it and learn about it and it's not super dry or boring. And, you know, during the pandemic, it was actually my push to get this completed. My sister was the one who pushed me to do it. She kept calling me. She's like, where's these pages? Where's this? Where's that? And when I first started writing, I had a hard time finding time to fit it in to write. Because, you know, life has a way of taking over. And she goes, just write your 2 crappy sentences a day. And before you know it, you'll have a manuscript. And I have to say, that's actually very true. Now, you won't have a manuscript very quickly, but you will eventually have a manuscript and then you can start doing rewrites. You can start making it better. You can start, you know, fixing it and making it presentable for people. And it's a process. You don't just write one thing and end it and send it off and you're like, you're done. I mean, you can do that, but you probably won't get very good results. You need to go through and write it, refine it, and, you know, give it structure. So, you know, we all make our own stories and you can write about anything. You can draw about something you've seen or heard or noticed. Like, you know, one of the things I always want to work into a story somehow, I haven't yet. It's like I work in the office building and they always put advertisements up for the events going on in the office. And they're always 3 days past. They never put them up on time. And that to me kind of amuses me, you know. And then we know when you travel, you can travel and create your own stories, whether it's local or whether it's international. It doesn't have to be international. It can be going down to a new restaurant and you experience it. Or you go to a restaurant you always go to, and there's a family sitting there dressed like a bunch of zombies, and you're just like, wow, this is odd. You know, all just observing can create ideas and stories, and you can explore that and take it and go with it. And so I had this is like not in the book, but it is related to traveling to Japan. And I did want to tell, you know, a few stories from traveling to Japan, because at its essence, that's what it's about. It's about the stories and stuff you gain when you go to a different culture, a different country, or even like a different city. So we would always go and buy green tea from this department store called Takashimaya. And it's a very upscale department store. It's not exactly cheap, but Jim, who's my husband right there, he really likes green tea. So we would go there, and we went the first time, and those women helped us, and they gave us all sorts of samples and talked to us and helped us with all, you know, everything. Anything you want to know, they were willing to wait. And we bought a bunch of green tea. And then we came back and we bought more green tea. And the following year we came back. So after a while we would show up and they would recognize us and be like, hey, the Americans that buy green tea. So, you know, it was kind of nice having people from a foreign country halfway around the world that only sees you once a year recognize you the next time you're there. So in 2016, my husband had a stroke, and it was the doctors were not giving a very good outlook for his recovery, which, by the way, they were completely wrong, thank goodness. But they were just saying, it's not good. He might not ever walk again. He might not talk properly. He'll have aphasia. You know, his personality would be different. So a few months later, when his birthday came, I wanted to buy him green tea because there was no way we were going to go to Japan. It was just off the table. So I contacted the department store, and they're like, we do not sell internationally. We don't ship internationally. I'm like, oh. And then I explained what happened, and then that was it. I sent an email, and I was like, okay, that's the end of that. Well, then they contacted me, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll send you green tea because of that. And they went out of their way to help me purchase this green tea. And when they sent the package, not only did it have green tea in it, it had other stuff, gifts, and all the employees had made cards to say, get well. And it was really just amazing how people you can meet just for a brief amount of time you can connect with. And so when we finally went back in 2018, they were working there still and they recognized us. and they did something that is very abnormal for the Japanese culture. They gave us hugs in public. So it was a very nice, kind of touching story. So I'm like, I'm hoping people will read Whiskers Abroad and they'll be kind of compelled to go out and create their own stories, whatever they be, you know. And this is actually in the book. So this is the first time I went to Japan, and this is a ticket machine, and you pick the tickets and it's all in Japanese. And I'm like, I don't know how to buy a ticket. I don't even understand how to use this. There's one button in English that says help. So like, oh, I'll push that. You push the button and a guy jumped out from behind the wall. And it's just really bizarre that I'm like, is he just sitting there waiting all day for someone to push that button? But in any case, he showed us how to use a ticket machine and we got a ticket. And here is the dedication page for my book. And it's dedicated to everyone who loves traveling yet hates leaving beloved pets at home. And I think that's everybody who's got a pet and travels kind of understands that tug at your heart. And you're like, oh, I don't want to leave you alone. But we all know it tends to work out just fine. And I see there's some comments. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. I mean, it could be on the book itself. It could also be on the marketing or how I got published or anything like that.
Oh, Carrie, this is Melody. I could see why Margot loves you. You know, you just, it's a fabulous presentation. I love your stories. I laughed and teared up during your presentation. Yeah, this was very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thanks.
Carrie, I have a question. Did you spend much time in any of the, I think they're called like the cat cafes, like interacting with the cats while you were there?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of them. So the interesting thing about the cat cafes is they originally started in Taiwan. But then the Japanese are like, that's a great idea. And they took it and they ran with it. Now there's more cat cafes in Japan than any other country in the world. And it makes sense because a lot of people don't have apartments where you can have pets, you know, and a lot of people work really long hours. So it makes having a pet difficult. So people will go to these cat cafes, and it's usually like regulars. They go 2 or 3 times a week and they get to know the cats, and you pay your, you know, $7 an hour or $10 for 2 hours, whatever it is. And you get coffee and tea with it, and you can pet the cats. And, you know, there's rules. There's lots of rules because it's Japan and Japan loves rules. But it's just like, it's really just fascinating to watch all these cats, and they just kind of lounge around and you can enjoy their attention, you know, or them ignoring you, which is probably more like the case. But a really fascinating thing was when I've been to these cat cafes, I wish my cat was around so I could demonstrate, was how they pet the cats. Like here, I don't know, I always stroke my cat, right? And they're like patting it. And I thought that was an interesting cultural difference.
Mm-hmm.
Tell about the cats in the park. Oh yeah, there's lots of stray cats in Japan. Like they have a really big cat, just culture of people loving cats. But they have a lot of cats, but the park cats are well taken care of. There's people that come in there and they feed them and they take care of them. And one of the parks in Tokyo, recently somebody went in and they took all the cats and they had found them homes and adopted them all out.
Wow.
So, you know, they do like cats, and there's cat shrines that's dedicated just to cats in Japan, you know, and they have cat folklore where people can turn into cats that are evil, or demons turn into cats that are evil. And a lot of that came about because of just like, think about it, if you got a cat and you don't know why, but at night all of a sudden its eyes start glowing orange or green, you're probably thinking, oh, that cat's possessed. You know, but it's just they're just giving a reason to why the cat has glowing eyes, you know.
Oh, and my second question is, do you anticipate someday this becoming a movie, you know, write a screenplay or do a cartoon or something like that?
I don't think it ever will. because I think everything things with like cats as a leading, it's not a cartoon, as a leading character tends to do well. I don't think anyone will touch it.
I mean, it might be a stop motion or something. Yeah.
Right.
Tell us
But,
a little bit how you got published.
Okay, so I did my due diligence, and it was just a lot of work and a lot of effort and just sending out queries. Made my query letter, I got my Excel spreadsheet. I went through like lists and lists of all the not all, but a lot of the publishers in the United States, and like, what do they publish? Are they applicable to what I want to do? And it was weird because the book doesn't fit neatly into any genre. It's not a straight guidebook. It's not a straight, fiction narrative. It's a travelogue, but there's a cat, so that makes it fiction, so it's not real. And it's got an element of magical realism. So it was like trying to find the right publisher that accepts that and was willing to, market it, because that was a big thing. Because I had several good responses, and they're like, but we don't know how to market it, so we're going to pass. We don't know what genre to stick it in, so we're going to pass. But I did get feedback from some of the publishers. But yeah, I made a list, and I just went through the list and sent off queries, and I kept track of who I sent to, what they said, if they didn't respond at all. And it's interesting because the one that said yes, which is Bayou City Press, was going to be the first one I sent my book to. And I thought, no, I'll send it to the big guys first, see what they say. And she was the last one I sent it to. And she's like, yes, this sounds just what I'm looking for. I'm like, excellent.
How much does the cat get paid? How much in royalties, or what do we got going there?
The cat gets paid in half and half, which might be why he's gaining so much weight. He likes half and half in the oysters.
I was just wondering if Stacy would like to say some things about your role in the book, because really the graphics are just amazing.
Yeah, it's a very heavy graphic book. I mean, it's got lots of photos, and it's got just like a layout, like a memory book almost.
Yeah, like a travelogue or memory book.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question. If anybody in here has traveled to Japan or had any other experiences there besides Carrie, because I haven't. No, nobody else. Then you'll need to read the book.
I know the book makes me want to go.
So do you have any, does anybody have any sort of advice as far as getting their creativity and getting the product out there and fun ways to market it?
I've been to Japan several times, and I've had the experience of actually living in homes, and I've never seen a cat in anybody's home.
That's why they all go to the cat cafe. They don't have the pets. They like the pets, but they don't have them.
Has anybody else? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I had an amusing experience when we got to Japan. I managed to leave my coat in the airport. So one of the first things we did when we got to Tokyo was go shopping for me to get a new jacket. And I went in one store, and no, there was nothing the right size. And I'm a medium, right? And went to another 2 stores and finally realized that they don't carry anything bigger than medium for women because they're all so small. I had to get a men's size.
Well, they do have it, but they call it Women's World. So you have to find a store that's Women's World. Because I bought some clothes there and I had to go there. And at the time I was like 115 pounds. And like, oh, I have to go up to the special floor. Interesting. But yeah, overall, everybody there is for the most part petite and thin.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to the question. Somebody said a question about any ideas about how to market the book. And this is just off the top of my head. one of the things, I'm sure you're finding this, I hope you're finding it, is when you have a new book out, it kind of builds upon itself. There's a word of mouth thing, and things that you do, the more likely you are to get called to do it.
Right.
And so, but just top of my head, I'm wondering if you've contacted Blue Willow Book about a reading. I'm wondering Blue Willow Bookstore. There's also Baskets here in the Montrose area, close to where I live. It's an really adorable store. And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe you might want to go in there and take the book and just show it to the book owners, see if you can set something up. And I'm also thinking, maybe, coming out to, Margot, what do you think about her coming to Archway Gallery and doing a little reading out of, for one of the Archway readings?
Well, Carrie's been coming. Yeah, Carrie's been reading from her book, and also some new material as well.
Have you done that in the gallery in person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I contacted, my sister contacted Blue Willow, and they're already booked everything for the year. So I guess they do it a year out in advance,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of like just sending emails and trying to get people to respond and see like, hey, do you want to do a review? Do you want to do an interview? And some say yes, and some you never hear from. And, it's just like anything. You just have to keep at it. And like one of my friends says, you just have to show up. She's like, show up for everything.
Yeah.
Because eventually something will pay off.
Yeah. Asking that question. I mean, keep showing up, keep asking the question, keep putting it out there.
Yeah, and it's work. And the thing is, it's interesting because like a lot of people think, oh, you just write a book and you send it off to the publisher and then you're done. And the royalty checks just come flowing in. But I'm like,
work doesn't start until after the book is published.
You gotta do a lot of work. Yeah, if you want it to go anywhere, or do more than like your mom reading it. You got to do work.
You have to be willing to market yourself, and it's hard especially if you're an introvert, as many writers are. Like, oh my gosh, actually, like, be really brave and put myself out there in front of people. Right. Make people think I'm an extrovert, which I'm not.
There is a program. It was in one of our newsletters where you can sell your book at a grocery store. Are you familiar with that?
I am, yeah. And it's interesting you mentioned that because it's like I'm in this other like writing kind of marketing group.
Yeah.
And she's mentioned that, and like some of the people said, oh, I've had great success doing that. And they're like 25% said they had great success, and the other ones, 75% is like, I'm not doing it again because it didn't get anywhere. So they're like, people just want to focus on getting groceries and getting out. So I'm like, okay, but I haven't done it myself.
Are there any like cat clubs or cat shows or anything that
there are, they're like, we went to Pop Cats and we had a booth there in Austin this year, but my understanding, it just didn't have the same turnout it had pre-pandemic. Like the pandemic kind of took the steam out of it. So, maybe in future years will be better.
There are cat cafes here in Houston, at least one of them. I think there's
there's El Gato, I know that for sure. You can also adopt the cats from the cat cafe if you're so inclined. And Caps has a once a month drink coffee with cats day,
One
Coffee
thing
and
you
cream.
might think of with the grocery stores, if you could maybe sit in the cat food aisle.
Right, over by the cat food. That's a good idea.
Maybe have some free sushi.
or maybe go to the pet store?
Yeah, I mean, that's a thought too, like Petco or PetSmart,
So you tried El Gato? What?
I haven't contacted them yet, no. So I had been doing like up to this point, just like a lot of podcasts, I've done a lot of podcasts, and so now I'm going to try to branch out to like doing more like in-person type stuff, since that's starting to happen more and more now with would say post-pandemic, but we're still in it.
Yeah.
It is happening more often now.
I think we have a good contact for you there, though.
I'm good.
Margot, has she mentioned Regina's group, who has a cat group?
Oh, that's what I
I
believe that.
sent, yeah, I sent Regina a link to buy the book. And so I don't know if her book club, her cat book club.
Yeah.
She seemed really interested in having that as one of their books to discuss.
Yeah, things like book clubs. If you can get a book club to, sign on for it, then you got sales right there, and you've got people who are probably going to read it and like it and talk about it and tell other people.
The other thing that you might consider doing is doing like a proceeds being donated to, like Pets Alive or like that. That helped me a lot with my first book that came out and actually led to a pretty big reading because I was donating proceeds to the Houston Literacy Fund, and it ended up, I was doing it just kind of, to give back, but it ended up how the word got back to them, and they contacted me, and it ended up being a pretty wonderful collaboration. So maybe, I don't know if you need to, how much money you need to get back from your book, but that can be helpful. And if you're advertising it online, just have them put in the, the tagline, like proceeds go to, just pick a cat worthy charity.
Right. I was thinking about, my thought process was cats, because back in, I don't remember the year now, I lived in the Heights and we had a major cat colony going on. Like, we're talking 27 cats. And it was always expanding. So I contacted CAPS and I was like, I hear you have a trap and release program. And the woman's like, yeah, but you have to have 7 cats and this and that. I'm like, I think I have more than 7. I don't think she believed me, because she's like, well, I'll go out and check it out. She comes over, she's like, oh crap, this is a lot of cats. But we got 20 cats trapped and spayed and neutered and released. And the other 7, I think like 5 of them were males, and they just kind of wandered off once there was no females. And then one wandered off to the other street, tooed over, and got adopted. So I just left the one female cat, and she would get pregnant and she never had kittens the whole time she was there, and she was like 7 years. And then after we got all the other cats spayed and neutered, she started having kittens. I was like, she's not spayed. I thought she was.
Oh no.
We had a cat with kittens that used to live under the deck.
Oh yeah.
For around the first few
Feral
years.
cat,
Yeah.
But yeah, they helped me out big time, because if I had to pay for that myself, I don't think I could have afforded it.
Well, I want to thank you so much for presenting to us tonight and sharing your adventure. And I mean, it was delightful, a lot of good information. Are there any other questions? Well, Carrie, you'll have a complimentary membership for a year, so.
All right.
You'll be one of us.
Yeah.
For at least a year.
Excellent.
Meow.
Yeah. So I am going to remove your spotlight. So, okay. Thank you again. I just really enjoyed this presentation. I laughed and learned, and cried. It's like it was everything. At this time, does anybody have any announcements, things that are going on, shows, readings? Miss Margot.
I do, yeah. This weekend is the Real Poetry Film Festival. It's a little confusing. Friday night is a screening at the Aurora Picture Show, and it's location Houston collaborations. So I have a video on that. It's called Unfurled Morning. I always get the title confused, but anyway, I'm real excited about that. And then I have another video in the online festival, which will run all day Saturday, all day Sunday. and there are videos from all over the world. It's poetry in a video form. It's really fascinating, and I think you'll enjoy it. So if you just go to realpoetry.com or just Google Real Poetry, you can get information about how to get a ticket.
And you've got information also in our Facebook group?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in the calendar.
And the calendar. Okay, perfect. Okay, yes, Miss Donna, and you're on mute. You're muted, Donna.
I have a show that opens at Archway March the 4th. And so, I invite you all to come out. The title is No Matter What, Keep the Hand Moving, that was my mantra all sort of through the pandemic. And so there's going to be a whole lot of little paintings on the drawings on the wall, but then a few larger paintings. But the little things are things that I did during the pandemic.
Okay,
great. Sitting in front of the TV, so that's it.
And how long, Donna, is your show up?
A month, but it's really because of the way that the thing, follows, the calendar comes, it's only about, there's only about 3 different weekends. I don't know, I have to look at it, but sometimes it's more and sometimes it's less weekends. John Strauss is going to be dancing several of the nights, and actually 4, 2 sets of weekends. So yeah.
So the reception's the 4th, is that?
Yes, the reception is the 4th. That's when it opens.
Donna, go Donna. Excellent.
Thank you.
You can go to the free workshop on writing your artist statement in the morning and then go to Archway in the afternoon. A full day of fabulousness. Yeah, and I've seen some of Donna's work that's going to be up, and it is just, blows your mind. In fact, this week's Saturday haiku will feature one of her work.
Oh man.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Let's see. I've got a piece up at Conroe. The reception's March 11th, so it doesn't conflict with anything else that's going on here. It's the Conroe Arts League, I think, CAL. Those are the right letters. Hopefully the words are correct. This exhibition runs the entire month of March. And I'll put something on the calendar as well. Anything else going on?
Okay.
Yes, Miss Kay.
Well, this is kind of generic, but I was over at the HEB today, and they are putting these little flyers in their bags. And guess what? It's about a whole spring festival based on, I believe, Indian and Oriental art that's going to happen Sunday, March 5th at the MFAH. And it says on here, admission is free to the festival. And it lists a bunch of things. They're going to have dancing and dance performances and food, tasty food trucks with Asian food. So I just think that's great. I love when the museums are free to everybody, and having the festival there in the plaza area be really nice. So it's Sunday, March 5th, 1 to 5 p.m. And it says everything is free. It says free.
Price is right. Okay.
Well, maybe not food in that. Well, maybe it is. See, it's I don't know, but anyway.
That's how they reel you in. They give you free food.
Yeah.
Get in and charge you for food.
That's right. They get you hooked. Yeah. The first little bit is free, but after that you have to pay. Anything else? Well, this has been such a fun evening. It was kind of fun to flash back to lead this member meeting again. Hopefully next month, Gretchen will be presiding, and then I can sit and eat like some of y'all do. So I had a lot of fun. Thank you again, Carrie. This was a great meeting. I think we all enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me on.
And we are excited about you being one of us for the coming year.
Yeah. Can I say something? Did I make an announcement of my STEP workshop that
Well,
I missed?
You may. You just barely made it under the wire.
Well, no, I was just, it's going to be March the 24th. I mean, March the 25th, Saturday, March the 25th, from 10 until 3. I still have about 7 tickets left, so they're going. I haven't done a lot. They've been advertised starting this Saturday on the radio, so I only have 7 tickets left. And so this is the STEP workshop that I did in January of last year. So I look forward for some WIVLA members to be able to attend. So that's what I want to say. Thank you. It's going to be Saturday, March the 25th from 10 to 3. It does include the workbook and a meal, a very delicious meal.
And I attended that STEP workshop last year. I highly recommend it. It was great. Yes, Miss Sider.
I want to know why Ann Boutte and June Russell are spending the evening together.
Where'd they go? Are they gone? See, all you had to do was ask the question and they're like, bam, we're out of here.
You chased them away.
I think they live nearby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They're
they
good
live.
friends.
Yeah, they live near each other. So it was great to see Ann Boutte again. So,
It was.
I mean,
nice to see
it's always good to see June too, but we see June more than.
that. Yeah.
Okay, don't misinterpret what I said. All right. Yeah. With that, let's close the meeting. Have a great month, and we'll see y'all at one of these fabulous events in the next month.
Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday. See you on Sunday to pick up.
That's right.
Yeah, Sunday we got to pick up our artwork. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a van. If anybody needs me to pick up their work for them, because I'm going to pick up my sculpture. So if anybody needs me to pick up their work, let me know. Okay?
Okay.
Joe's
All
like,
right. Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Next month.